Hello, everyone. My name is Nathan Sutherland with Flint and Iron, and I get the distinct privilege today of announcing our newest resource for families called Gospel Tech. Gospel Tech is a resource for families who want to raise their kids to love God and use tech. In a digital world, it's pretty intense. It can be very overwhelming to try to figure out what tech is acceptable, what tech is helpful, what tech is a distraction, what tech is destructive, and where are the gray lines in between? What's it look like for us as adults to model that, to raise our kids? When is it policing our kids' lives? And when is it an uplifting and helpful thing where they'll actually thank us later when they recognize that they're more of themselves and able to achieve more of their purpose? And that's really the conversation Anna and I want to be able to have through this Gospel Tech resource. So Flint and Iron is still the nonprofit. We're still focused on sparking positive purpose in youth. And the Gospel Tech side is specifically focused on families. So our podcast then is all the stuff that doesn't fit into the workshops, into the video series we're developing, into any of these other spots, but it's still good. Right? So how do we continue the conversation? If I go to a workshop, I can address 3 or 4 major issues, right? Like big picture stuff. How do I know if my kid is healthy, or what are the 2 types of tech, right? I can address that, do a Q&A, and we've been done an hour, 15 minutes, maybe 90 minutes if I'm really on a roll. But then what? Like, what do we go to? We've left with some really cool info, but we forget. So the podcast is to be that conversation where we can come back and we can be reminded, all right, I do love my kids. This is what the gospel is. This is how my tech, or this question we have, or this conversation we need to have, this is how it all kind of ties together in light of the gospel. And that leaves us with this application. It is not, this Gospel Tech podcast is not intended for Anna and I to show up and tell people how to run their lives. We're not professional counselors or professional life runners. We really are 2 parents, 2 former educators, and 2 people who love God and use tech, and we want to help other people further that conversation in their own families, because from teaching and from raising our own kids, we recognize this is an area where people are hungry to just have the conversation. So please come join us. We're excited. So it's February 18th. That's in less than 2 weeks. It's a Tuesday. Will be the first release date for our first podcast episodes, and then it will be weekly on Tuesdays. We will release an episode a week. It'll generally be myself, Nathan. Anna will be involved as well, but logistically getting us both in here is quite the feat. Our first episode will be both of us, but it'll be often me, and Anna loads public speaking. So that's the other reason I get voluntold for this. But I'm excited to do it, and we'll have some guests on as well to help us flesh out this conversation. Please send us your questions, your thoughts, your ideas. Your input is going to be key on this. We will get a link out so you can subscribe, and the first episodes will be sent directly to your listening device, phone, computer, whatever it is, floating Alexa voice in your mind. And we are very excited to continue this conversation so we can raise our families to love God and use tech.